So Marvin Bagley III is officially going to be in the upcoming NBA draft that we have, and I've been Googling the guy, and I've seen comparisons to Anthony Davis. I've seen some say he's like one of the best prospects going for the last X amount of seasons. The dude's a pretty big deal. He's going to be at Duke this upcoming year, and I just want to talk about, like, if we look at Bagley's skill set, and I have him on the Bulls here just because I had to pick someone to talk about when I just talk about how good Bagley is, and then we're going to talk about just a couple of the teams he could end up on in this upcoming season, because everyone says he's going to be the #1 overall pick, and then we can just look at, like, how he can impact those teams. I mean, they tell me with Bagley that he is a power forward / center who's very athletic and reminds people of Anthony Davis in that way, so I guess that's where that comparison comes from. He's also someone who can put the ball on the floor and actually have skills in terms of, like, being in the open floor and perhaps attacking defenders one-on-one sometimes, although that's not like the calling card of his game. He just seems like a dude who has, like, some shooting guard abilities, but he's what, 6'10", 6'11", and he's also really athletic at the same time. They're saying his defense should be good pretty much right away. Someone who can switch on smaller defenders, and he just seems like kind of a cheat code, almost, Marvin Bagley. I mean, if you've seen this story of how he was playing against NBA players in, maybe it was the Drew League or something, and not only did he look like he belonged, but he was like one of the best players on the floor. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense, as people have been saying that if he was going to be in high school for another year, he would have been basically wasting his time, almost. And if we're looking at where the NBA is today, seems like Bagley could fit in pretty well as probably a center. I don't know. I can't confidently pick where. We're going to mention his three-point shot in a little bit. He seems to have some of that to his game, being able to hit from outside, but it's not like his calling card, so maybe he'd be better off as a center, power forward. He's going to be great for you regardless. So how can this athletic, two-way, skilled big man, how can he impact some of the worst teams in the NBA? Well, if he ends up on the Chicago Bulls, he could help out Chris Dunn. I would say Dunn, rookie season wasn't beautiful. Doesn't mean he's helpless. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a chance in the NBA. But it will help him if he has some actual talent around him. And if you've got a big man in Bagley who can command a lot of attention, then that'll definitely make your day easier. Similar thing with Zach LaVine. You know, is LaVine more of a playmaker than just a scorer? We're going to find out if he ends up on the Chicago Bulls past this season, because if I'm not mistaken, he's got restricted free agency coming up. There's also the injury, so we're just going to have to wait and see. But there's also Lauri Markkanen, and if you've got Bagley who can command a lot of inside attention, and then you've got Markkanen at the power forward position who's going to be spreading the floor, that's a front court that you can be excited about if you're the Chicago Bulls. And I do think that they have a chance to be the worst team in the league. Whether they actually would get their pick or not is a different thing. But if we can move on to another team, the Phoenix Suns, they could be really interesting if I look at Bagley with one of their front court players as well as one of their more established perimeter guys in Eric Bledsoe, which we're going to talk about in a second here. I mean, Phoenix, they have a lot of guys who I think he could play off of really well. Also, yeah, Derek Favors is in the Spurs jersey. Don't worry about it. You know, if you drafted Bagley and he was able to make that instant impact, that's the sort of thing that would perhaps convince someone like Eric Bledsoe to stay. Who knows if he'll end up being traded before Bagley's even on the team. We would just have to wait and see. But the other one's Dragan Bender, and this is the one that really intrigues me, because Bender has also shown a lot of perimeter skills for a big man. Ball handling, passing, shooting as well. And if you have a good head coach who can use these two together, that could be really something. And also defensively, they're saying that Bender can be someone who can also defend multiple positions. So you have Bender and Bagley playing defense, as well as Josh Jackson, who does nothing in this clip, but I just had to get him in the video. You could be a really strong defensive team with a lot of versatility on offense. And hopefully that'd be the team that, with Devin Booker, could make some real noise in the Western Conference. If we talk about the Atlanta Hawks, I would love to see Bagley on a team run by Mike Budenholzer. I'm sure Coach Bud would find all sorts of ways to get Bagley screening for one person, getting switches, rolling to the rim, used as a ball handler, giving him a lot of space on post-ups. We would also learn if Dennis Schroeder is legit, because I have some reservations about whether he can actually be like a star player. But if he'd have a real star next to him in Bagley, then that'd be great for him. It'd be interesting to see if they kept Ersan Ilyasova, because I think he'd be the type of power forward you'd want next to Bagley with more shooting. But even if Ilyasova isn't there, I'm pretty sure Coach Bud is always going to prioritize shooters, so the spacing around Bagley should always be good. We can talk about the Lakers as well. If they get the #1 pick, then they end up keeping their pick and it does not go to the Celtics. Also, this ball goes through Draymond Green's foot, but don't worry about it. I mean, Lonzo Ball and Marvin Bagley together, that could be a devastating pick and roll with Lonzo's playmaking abilities. And I mean, Bagley just seems like a dude who'd be perfect in that role because of his athleticism and finishing around the rim. And that would be the star power needed to really get the Lakers going, you know? But of course, there's another rumor that says LeBron James may end up signing to these guys next season. If that's the case, then you got LeBron who can throw passes to Marvin Bagley. Now, if that rumor's actually true or not, who the hell knows, but yeah, I think Bagley, someone's going to be really fortunate to get him, and we're going to finish this video with a LeBron James clip because why the hell not?